What's going on? Why am I losing this? Why don't I have sound? Someone's pressing buttons and turning my sound off. Who's asking for a Labor Day rundown in my ear? Get. Stop the hammering. Where's the hammer? Is it on the, go up on the other floor. Somebody go up there and stop the hammering. I'll go down to the floor myself and stop it. Keep the commercial break going. Call Phil Griffin. I don't care who the you have to call. Stop the hammering.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and our old friend Timmy Pool and many others are now being named in a federal lawsuit or a federal trial that, to me, doesn't, it really, when the whole situation went down between this supposed random dude that went into the Pelosi's house and then was just hanging out and having drinks and then suddenly had a hammer, and I don't really know or understand any of how that happened, but I don't believe the official narrative. Now the trial is going on, and there's been some suspicious naming of names, including, well, Timmy Pool and others, basically confirming to me, and again, this is just my opinion, okay? YouTube, censor people out there, it's just my opinion. Let's just say I think it's awfully convenient that this guy is up on trial, and he mentions, and I'm not kidding you, Tim Pool and Gamergate. We're going to be talking about this in depth on my live stream today, by the way. Link will be in the pinned comment down below and the description. We got lots of topics today. Just want to remind you, I'm giving away $10,000 in prizes. I've already picked something like 48 winners. There's going to be a total of 120, and all you have to do is, I'm not asking you to leave YouTube. Just download the Rumble app, follow The Quartering on there, or you can watch on desktop, and tune into my live stream this afternoon. I pick 8 viewers every show. You can actually enter for a couple hours afterwards if you're catching it later. So I want you to win. Look at all this stuff behind me. All this is yours. $60, $70 gift cards, PS5, an Xbox Series X, a Switch OLED, Asus Ally ROG, this Lenovo gaming pad. I have so much stuff to give away. So come on over to the show today. We're going to have some fun discussing this a little more in depth. Now, Paul Pelosi's alleged attacker burst into tears on the witness stand, said he got caught up in a slew of conspiracies after listening to Tim Pool and James Lindsay. And of course, he brought up gamer. Leave a like on the video for being able to necro that. If you're an old viewer, you might not. If you're a new viewer, you might not know the lore there. But David DePape, the man accused of, well, doing the stupid stuff, a Canadian national, has pled not guilty to 2 federal felony charges. And now he faces life in prison if convicted. He claimed previously that he had been caught up in a slew of conspiracies online that drove him to break into Pelosi's home last October, just before the 2022 midterm. He repeated those claims on Tuesday, crying a few minutes into his testimony when one of the lawyers asked him about his political leanings and how he'd transitioned from being, quote, left-wing to being conservative. Because that's what's important here, everybody. That's what's important. What were his personal politics? The people need to know, because I'm sure that's going to affect the sentencing. I mean, look, I am not I don't have a lot of wild theories out there, okay? But it sure seems awfully convenient that, like, one of the largest independent news voices on YouTube gets personally named in this lawsuit, as well as other prominent people. And then literally the Gamergate thing, he testified that he listened to political podcasts on YouTube nearly all day, sending him down the rabbit hole of conspiracies that led him to believe outlandish things about prominent people, including Nancy Pelosi. He named right-wing influencers Tim Pool and James Lindsay as the podcast he listened to the most. Now, I, look, first of all, crazy people gonna be crazy. All right, let's talk about that. Or let's establish that. But also, it's awfully convenient, heading up into election season, that one of the loudest independent voices on the platform that reaches hundreds of thousands of people every single day just happens to get named in a lawsuit that just will happen to probably, that will probably just happen to lead to demonetization or YouTube restrictions or shadow bannings, because we know what the next step is here, right? Tim Pool's getting government officials kidnapped. Tim should probably be dual streaming to Rumble on his live stream. I don't want to tell him what to do, but build that Rumble presence, bro. It's very easy. Just use Restream and add another out. It's so easy. Just add another output. Okay. I know. I'm just being selfish, because I am a Rumble shill. Lindsay, whom the SPLC described as a conspiracy promoting groomer rhetoric, and addressed his name being mentioned in a tweet, writing, "I don't know who needs to hear this, but I denounced Pape LOL." He didn't detail exactly what he believed about the Pelosi's, but he referenced other conspiracies and tried to illustrate that he wasn't thinking clearly at the time of the attack. So it was the podcasts. Are the podcasts in the room with you right now? Talked about, of course, different, various. So he talks about when Bush was in office, he thought that it was an inside job. Like, what? He'd also search online for lies about Donald Trump. So when exactly was he a leftist? I mean, if 2001 you were already a conspiracy theorist, when was he a leftist? He admitted that he had a target list of other people he had come to hate, which included Tom Hanks. Well, that's bizarre. Trump's former VP, Mike Pence, Bernie Sanders, the president's son, Hunter Biden, and California Governor Gavin Newsom. So pretty equal, I would honestly say. People on the right and people on the left. That list did not include Paul Pelosi, he said. "I wasn't trying to hurt him, but you hammered him. Literally. I reacted because my plan was ruined, getting to the rest of my targets and pardoning all of them and ending the corruption." What? He insinuated that he went after Paul Pelosi out of anger because his plan was ruined. Prior to the incident, he claimed that he and Pelosi had a good rapport going. That's what a lot of people are mostly curious about, that good rapport. He added that initially he thought that the strike had ended him until he read the state charges against him from the jail that included attempted. His defense attorney did not attorneys have not disputed much of the facts of the case, including that he in fact did the thing. They had a master plan. He had a master plan to stop a larger political conspiracy that had nothing to do with then Speaker Pelosi or her duties. I mean, are you kidding me with this? I mean, if you look at, here's Ben Collins, shill for NBC, right? Paul Pelosi's attacker said in court that he got into politics through gamer. He would listen to right-wing podcasts for hours at a time and developed a hit list. What? I don't know, what? Literally nothing he said is a lie. A lot of these people post this, look at IGN even. You can't spell ignorant without IGN, video game website. A man standing trial for, said he claimed that he was radicalized by watching hours of extreme anti-feminist gaming videos on YouTube. What? I love that this is becoming an excuse now. Like, oh, I watched podcasts, so don't arrest me for the crimes I commit. This guy is clearly, a lunatic. I think it's awfully suspicious that he outright named Tim Pool, who I think really hasn't floated any wild conspiracies other than the imminent civil war in this country, which, as more days pass, I think he might be right. So I think it's awfully odd. He writes, "I'd look up a strategy to defeat a game boss, and it'd be a total different person. These people would talk about how toxic feminist and Anita Sarkeesian is. over and over, DePepe said. I wanted to find out what was going on here. I wanted to get both sides of the story. It was from researching the claims YouTubers made about Sarkeesian, he said, that he discovered further conspiracy theories as he went deeper and deeper and deeper in his research. Again, watching video game videos on YouTube. I mean, are you kidding me with this? This is absolute lunacy. And what's going to happen is, I can already predict the headlines. This is going to be used for another attempted adpocalypse. They're going to say, well, YouTube is radicalizing people. Look at what they did. Of course, they never look at any of the left-wing lunatics that sit and watch left-wing Marxist, socialist podcasts on the platform all day and then go do heinous things like the Super Soldiers and Antifa or anybody that watches Hassan Piker. Okay, so, it's only going to be the conservatives. And he's up there on stand saying, oh, well, the podcast made me do it. No, this guy was, well, a lot of people are going to say that he was recruited into some sort of program. There's programs that seek out weak-minded people and then turn them into assets and then have them do things like this. I'm not making that claim. I'm just saying it's only going to provide a lot of fuel to people that believe that, because what is the point of mentioning Tim Pool or James Lindsay or anybody by name? Why are they even asking exactly what YouTube videos were you watching? It doesn't matter. The guy went into the house with a hammer, did something heinous, put him in prison, and throw away the key. But now they're all concerned about his personal politics. And certainly this will all come back to Trump somehow. Trump, and then they're going to reignite this ridiculous, the right-wing conspiracy rabbit hole that starts with Tim Pool. I've been doing this long enough. By the way, if you haven't yet subscribed or followed down below, please do so. I've been doing this long enough that I've started to see this cycle come back around. First, it was Gary Murray. Then it was the right-wing rabbit hole. And now they'll come up with some, leftist to extremist pipeline kind of thing. Something like that, they'll call it. It's all ridiculous, and it's all building to perhaps exactly what I'm predicting. There's gonna be articles written about how free speech is dangerous and hate speech and people are getting indoctrinated. Of course, they only care about this on the left, not all the 12-year-olds cutting off perfectly healthy tissue because they feel a little odd that day and they saw some TikTok weirdo saying that their life is great now. They won't investigate that and the indoctrination that the left does and all that kind of nonsense. But they'll definitely be knocking at Tim Pool's door almost certainly, excuse me, and then have all these articles launched, because they're already in all these articles. A big part, every one of these articles covering the case has mentioned Tim Pool and YouTube podcasts. Every single one of them. Here's an NBC loser, Ben Collins, doing the exact same thing. They're building a narrative around YouTube and Tim Pool, and they want to silence people going into the 2024 election. That's why, if you're not already, make sure, again, I'm giving away 10 grand and stuff worldwide. You enjoy Timmy's podcast for 2 hours a night. I'm from noon to 2. I'm 7 hours before he even goes live. Give us a try. Link will be in the pinned comment and in the description below. I can't wait to talk a little more freely about this topic.